All right, I'd like to go over something that we use called a start sentence. This comes from John Collins, who created a lot of different classroom writing techniques. And what the start sentence is for basically is to introduce an essay. It's a topic sentence for an essay, and it's a great format. It's a really easy format to follow. And as students practice this more and more, they'll get really good at coming up with these topic sentences for essays. And then as they build out the essay, of course, they'll add the details and those sorts of things. But this is just to get that topic sentence, and it's something we practice a lot in fourth grade, and then students can continue to use this in fifth grade, sixth grade, and beyond as a good strategy for starting an essay. So I just want to review those steps. And START is an acronym, so each letter stands for something. So the first S stands for source, and we start out our essay by highlighting the source. Now up here I have a prompt that I made just based on a Newsella article. So we have this article, Colonial Leaders, William Penn. Of course, we study a lot of Pennsylvania history in fourth grade, so that was an easy article to choose. So we have this article about William Penn, and after reading that article, we could respond to this prompt. Now our prompts in fourth grade all have three sentences. They are three-sentence prompts. So we have the article, Colonial Leaders, William Penn provides details about the life of Pennsylvania's founder. So our first sentence in the prompt is always our focusing statement. It's just a sentence to kind of remind us what we read about, to kind of focus us on what the article was about, just a quick little introduction. The second sentence, and I tell the students, sentence number 2 tells you what to do. This is our task. This is basically the assignment. This is what we need to write about. So we're writing a brief essay analyzing how Penn's experiences as a young man shaped his ideas for the colony of Pennsylvania. And then the final statement is the evidence statement. And there it says, cite evidence from the text to support your response. So I teach the students to focus in on sentence 2. Write a brief essay analyzing how Penn's experiences as a young man shaped his idea for the colony of Pennsylvania. Now, we're not writing the whole essay right now. We're focusing on this start sentence. So we need our source. And I've given some examples here in blue. We could say in the article, in the story, in the text, in the book, in the passage, in the selection. So here, since it is an article, I'm going to say in the article. Okay. And it always starts with in the. I have that part completed for my students usually. Title. Okay, well, we need our title here. What was the title of the article? Oftentimes it can be found right here in our prompt, and the title was Colonial Leaders, William Penn. Since it is an article, it would be written with quotation marks. So there we have our title. Okay. Next, we come to the author. Now, many Newsella articles either do not list an author or they list the organization that wrote it instead of just the author's name, and that's all right. So if it doesn't mention an author by name, you can simply say the author. Okay. And of course, if multiple authors were listed, you would list each author. But in this case, I'm just going to use the author since no specific author is mentioned. The next one, we need a right verb. Now, really, we could have just said verb, but we want that START acronym to work for us here. So we have ST, A, and then R is going to be the right verb. And in fourth grade, we try to teach students to use focused, clear, specific verbs. So I have down here, avoid things like says or tells or writes. We're trying to get away from some of that simple language and start to build more academic vocabulary. So we have think about the purpose of the text and look at the prompt for some possible hints. So up here in the prompt, it says we're writing an essay analyzing how the experiences shaped his ideas. So I could say the author analyzes. I could say the author explores or describes. A lot of different ways that I could do that. So I'm going to say explores. Okay. So as we're building our sentence, now we have in the article, Colonial Leaders, Colonial Leaders William Penn, the author explores. And then our final T, our second T, is the topic. So we finish our sentence with a few words telling what the text is about, or it says just give the gist or the big idea. I could also look back up here and look at the prompt. So again, that task statement in the prompt could kind of help me focus in on what to write for my topic. And here my topic is how Penn's experiences as a young man shaped his ideas for the colony of Pennsylvania. And that's what I'm going to go with. Explores how Penn's experiences as a young man shaped his ideas for the colony. So often, this topic sentence or this topic part of the sentence can be a simple restate of the task statement from that prompt. So now I've put all this together and I'm going to come up with my final sentence, and it's just going to go down through. In the article, Colonial Leaders, William Penn, the author explores how Penn's experiences as a young man shaped his ideas for the colony of Pennsylvania. And I'm just going to go through and write that. Now, often students have a tendency to want to include by here, especially when we have the author's name. We don't need that. That's not necessary for this sentence to make sense just based on the structure that we're using. So in the article, Colonial Leaders, William Penn, the author explores how Penn's experiences as a young man shaped his ideas for the colony of Pennsylvania. So it should be a pretty quick, simple, straightforward way to form that topic sentence. And you can see just looking at that sentence, it's a much stronger sentence than this article was about, or I read about, or I'm writing about, some of the ways that students often kind of tend to gravitate to. So using this format, START, source, title, author, right verb, topic, students are able to come up with a good, strong introductory sentence. And then from there, they'll build their essay with their details and with their evidence to support those details, and then explaining that evidence. And that's all things that we'll also cover in the fourth grade curriculum. But this is something we're going to practice over and over and over again so it becomes automatic for our students. And we really want to get that start sentence skill growing.